What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. My name is Rich from frigid Central Florida. It hit 30 something today. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know how to handle this. But you can find me on all the socials at rich.piva. It's at Fuzz Doom Rip. Doing reviews from Muspedia of Metal and as a Doom Charts contributor. Turbo, I'm complaining about weather, and I'm sure it's been colder a lot by you. And it's annoying to talk about weather also. But Turbo, how are you today?
I am fine because I have a beard and I stay warm.
That's very true. There's a reason why I'm so cold all the time. Multiple reasons, but anyway, we're very excited to have Elias and Dave from the Baltimore band Black Lung with us. We are huge fans of the band. Talking to these guys, number one, because we're huge fans of the band, but also some really cool stuff happening on March 6th on Magnetic Eye Records. The new Black Lung record, Forever Beyond, is dropping. I believe this is record number 5, correct? Yeah, I'm doing some math as well. And Turbo and I are lucky enough to have heard it, and we absolutely love it. So welcome, Elias. Welcome, Dave, to our show. How are you guys doing?
What's up? Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Glad you enjoy the record.
Love it, love it. Have some questions about it, and you know, um, just want to talk a little bit about some of the songs. And for those people who might be fans and have not been lucky enough to hear the record, except for I believe you guys have a couple singles that are out,
Traveler and follow.
"Traveler" and "Follow," right? Um, what would you say for album number 5 is maybe some of the differences? What is what's this record? What makes this record different than the first 4 that came before them?
Well, you want me to say? Okay. Well, I'm Elias, by the way. This is the Elias voice. Um, well, the first 3 records were sort of a different um, era, a different incarnation of the band. Back when we were working mostly as a 3-piece with just 2 guitars, drums, and vocals, and we're idiosyncratically just leaving off bass, partially because we were too lazy to find a bassist and we just like what we had going on. And we always sort of add some bass guitar to the records, sort of as an afterthought just to thicken it up. But then once Adam Buffano, who is one of the founding members, left the band, and then we hired Dave Fullerton as the second guitarist. And then COVID happened, and so then we sort of went into hibernation. And then when we were able to get back into the practice space safely, it was still a long ways out from playing shows or touring, but we had a lot of time to sort of reinvent ourselves and decided we wanted to move in this new direction with actually writing and playing with a bass guitar. And our good friend Charles Brace came in on the last record, Dark Waves, to write and record bass on the record. Dark Waves, yeah, I see you got it
Yep.
there.
Nice.
And so that definitely changed the sound of the band and changed the way we were able to write songs, because we had this, especially the guitar players had this freedom to open things up and not have to, I guess, always have someone, you know, chugging on really low guitar chords or whatever the guitarists call them. But um, so that was sort of a reinvention of the band. And then I think on this new record, Forever Beyond, we were even more comfortable with that formation, and writing with a bass player, and it felt even more natural, and it freed us up to, yeah, experiment, and expand on the sound even more, and probably move it in an even more progressive rock kind of direction without. I think we like progressive rock, but we prefer prog rock that doesn't draw too much attention to itself and just sort of seamlessly um, happens without being overly showy.
Yeah. It so I'm gonna throw something out there, and you guys tell me if I'm nuts, on what I'm hearing in this album. And generally, so I'm the guy who says it sounds like certain bands. Turbo's the guy who says I hear an instrument and he's 50% of the time right and 50% of the time wrong. So we'll start with what I'm hearing. And this is complete, utter compliments. this record to me sounds like a combination of Catherine Wheel and Blue Oyster Cult. I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but like I hear like this like kind of, I don't want to say shoegazy, because shoegazy I think is a little, tends to people tend to not think that there's a heavy to it when you say the word shoegazy. But there's something that I hear that's inherently 90s, but also like inherently proto metal. I might be crazy. You guys tell me. I also feel like I heard a little bit of The Cure Disintegration in one of the songs as well. Am I insane, or is there something to that?
What was the first artist you said?
Catherine Wheel.
I don't even know who that is.
I love when you guys don't know who the bands are when I say it sounds like it, because that happens almost every time because I'm a nerd. They were were a 90s band who, I don't know how to explain it, but they were like kind of shoegaze but heavier. Kind of wall of sound guitars, but also had some melodicness to it. So
I gotta check that out.
yeah,
Yeah.
first two Catherine Wheel records, especially
Sounds
Chrome.
cool.
I think you guys, but like, are you fans of Blue Oyster Cult at all? Like, or again, am I pulling this stuff out of my butt?
I could name you like what I know, like the cowbell song from SNL. You know, literally like that's uh, as much as I know a Blue Oyster Cult.
But
Yeah.
I think you're definitely right that I mean, I'm a big fan of shoegaze music. Um, and there's definitely there's some moments on the record in particular, for example, song number 3, which we finally titled Savior. But initially I think we just called it the Doom Gaze song. And then it was called New Experience, which is a whole other story. But we finally chose that name Savior. but but yeah, that was sort of a conscious choice. And yeah, we love, I think, maybe more influenced by artists like Chelsea Wolfe, who sort of, yeah, rides the line between doom and shoegaze at certain moments. Um yeah, so if not specifically those artists you mentioned, definitely having that in mind. And I think I know maybe the Cure part you're talking about. Is it the sort of strange piano sound in that song?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely open in yeah, dipping into some of these influences that aren't as um traditional and like, modern doom metal or heavy psych circles. But we're fans of that stuff too.
Love it. Very cool. Turbo, what do you got for the guys? Well, 8 minutes in, I get asking you a question, and so
I hear
all
a
you,
wall
Turbo.
of sound. It's like it's equally produced. Everything is kind of equal on this. But I guess I don't know who did you all produce this yourself, or who helped produce it?
Yeah, we recorded with Steve Wright at Right Way Studios. Um and he was certainly the engineer, and you could call him the producer also, just because he'll kind of naturally take that role, like when we'll just kind of ask him for his opinion and he's happy to give it. But we almost never have like somebody in that like a producer, you know what I mean? Like someone who's in the room and that's their only job is producer. I don't think we've ever made a record like that. It's really the three of us, like our influence, and then whoever's the engineer is also kind of playing producer sometimes, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, I'd say
you also have like a Rick Rubin type who's just in there, like, pulling cool stuff out of us or whatever. It's just like, yeah, never quite done it
I'd
like
say it was sort of a co-production between Steve Wright and the band, and I think that's how we credit it on the album. But
yeah.
yeah, because and I personally like when the engineer slash producer, you know, comes up with their own ideas and sort of challenges us or brings something to the table that we wouldn't have thought of. Because sometimes you get kind of stuck in a rut, or you go down a rabbit hole that's maybe not not fruitful in the end, and having that other perspective can help. But yeah, I think we're big. I know I speak for myself. I'm a big fan of wall of sound type music. Even, I mean, not necessarily that has to be heavy music, but music recordings that are really lush and um not always completely transparent, but have things that you discover in the headphones or just after more and more listens that make the album something you can return to, and it keeps giving. So yeah, I think we went out of our way to create layer on top of the bare structure of the song, create interesting layers that could be appreciated with closer listens.
Yeah.
And I'm also a big fan of that wall of beard you have, Turbo.
Thank you.
I can see how that can keep you warm.
Like in the Traveler, towards the end, are y'all harmonizing? Is that layered in the back? Are y'all harmonizing, or is that like keyboard sounds that I'm hearing?
It's a bunch of stuff, but you're hearing Sarah Crescio, who is a Baltimore, just killer singer. She had her own band for a long time called Miss Sarah, and she came to right here actually in this basement of mine, and just it was all overdubs. Like all of her vocals were overdubs on that song, and so you're hearing like in the first two choruses her just harmonizing with me, and then for the final chorus where we modulate up, she laid down like this 5-part harmony, layered, beautiful choir like thing. And that's what you hear at the very end of that song too. It's just her, doing this choir type thing.
Yeah, I wish one of us could sing like that. That would be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the best to work with.
And she also sings in the song Savior as well, I believe. And
Yep.
the bridge.
Similar effect, big like layered vocals kind of thing in the bridge.
Is it Death and Company, or is it Savior, where there's like a synthy drum sound at the beginning before the live drums
Death
kick
and
in?
Co. Yeah.
Death and Co. Yeah, that
Yeah, nothing go. Yeah.
I love that, and I think that one of the cool things about this record is that the production is, I want to use the word clean, but that's not the word I really want to say, because clean would to me always makes it sound overproduced. It sounds different than a lot of the records that are out there today. And that is a compliment, because I think that you guys did a lot of stuff. It's not like you just went in the room and plugged in and played. There's like stuff happening, as you mentioned, like the harmonies and on some synths and the drum at the beginning of Death and Co. Is this more than you guys have done studio-wise before, or is this your usual approach?
I would say like yes, and kind of. It's like, we did just go in the room and play. Like that is the foundation of the record. Is like that's 90% of what you're hearing. It's just like us in a room playing, similar to us like being in the rehearsal space. Basically, it's a lot of live stuff. But maybe this time more than ever, we did more post, more overdub, more like stuff at home kind of stuff. Like Elias can do a lot of overdubs just at his house. Like I was just saying, Sarah came down here and we did that. But we definitely, there was no rush for this record to come out. There was no deadline. There was like, so we were really on our own time with it, which is nice to be able to take your time.
Yeah, and I think we decided before going into the studio that we were going to purposely book less studio time than we maybe normally would, but then take our own time outside of the studio, just recording at home, to add some of those extra layers that, if you try to do that, try to add those layers, which we have in the past, and get everything done in the studio, sometimes you run up against the wire. And then some of those, at least for me, the sort of overdubs I like to do on keyboards or auxiliary percussion, I don't want to waste time and money in the studio when I could easily just record those in my room and get them exactly how I want them. So we made that sort of part of the plan, to add some of those extra bells and whistles, and not literally bells and whistles, but
Maybe next
the
time.
guitars. Maybe I did add bells here and there, but like the Mellotron stuff I added, and some synth and acoustic guitars that the other Dave added, and things like that. Yeah, we just did those in my house, and then in your basement, Dave. And yeah, I think that made it a lot. The creativity was a lot freer. in those final touches on the album, which I think are really, really important to bring the full record to life in a way that's different than we sound live, which I always want to do.
I think that's what makes this one, I want to say, special, because I think your attention to detail in what you're doing in the songs themselves, you kind of, you hear something different every time. And I think that's I go back to like that 90s kind of cap and wheel thing, because it has like these layers and this attention to detail where you can hear like 6 layers of acoustic guitars underneath all of the electrics that are playing, or you can hear the synths that are playing at the same time. I just love it. Just going back history wise, I got into you guys at this record when you were, I think this is your Ripple record.
Nice.
Love this record. I showed Dark Waves earlier. When you did some work with Heavy Psych Sounds. So you're hitting all the labels out there. Now
Yeah.
you're with Jad and company at Magnetic Eye. How did you guys connect with Jad and make that happen? Just another amazing label that's out there.
Yeah, that was a connection through Howling Giant. When we did a tour with them and with Mars Red Sky up the East Coast. Mars Red Sky are friends from they're a French trio. They're awesome. Like when we've toured Europe in the past and played some festivals, we've often played with them. So they're good friends, and yeah, it was just a connection through Howling Giant. We just played these shows and really hit it off with those guys, and they put us in touch with Jad, and that was it. It was a fairly simple thing.
Awesome. Chad is accumulating through Blues Funeral and through Magnetic Eye. I mean, just the stable that of bands, and Howlin' Giant. Anyone who interacts with them will always say the nicest human beings on the planet. It seems. We had them on the show, and they were so cool. Just great
Yeah,
people and really
those guys
talented.
really have it down to a science, man, because they are on the road a lot, um, and you know, they're just like three friends hanging out. They're like they're really kind to each other. They're really like they communicate really well. It's important when you talk about going on tour. It's like you play for 45 minutes, right? And then there's the other 23 hours in the day where you just have to be around each other, and they're just like, yeah, really chill. They're really good at it.
Yeah, I think when we just, the experience of playing, it was just four shows, I think, with them and Mars Red Sky. And they're so professional and hardworking. And so when they spoke highly of Magnetic Eye, we're like, okay, this is a label we'd like to work with, because this is a serious band who, takes what they do really seriously and professionally. And yeah, we'd be interested in talking with that, whatever label they are involved with.
And Magnetic Guy does a great job with vinyl, and you guys have some very cool versions that you're able to pre-order right now. Everybody, go check out all the different ones. I believe I have the light blue with black splatter on the way at some point in time when that
I was gonna
gets.
say, do you have one? I don't have one yet.
Not yet. No. These are all about. It's all about the pre-order right now. Turbo and I, when we communicate about a new record, usually communicate in emojis. And I believe the emoji song that I got this time was "Scum" from Turbo. Turbo, you want to ask them about that particular track? Because I know that one jumped out at you.
Yeah, it's an epic song. One of the things I wanted to ask Dave was if he's laying out a yell, really deep, like passionate yell, and there's one part of the song, it's like you're singing and then all of a sudden you stop, but it sounds like you just let out a yell and it's in the background, but I don't know. But yeah, I love that song. It's great.
Maybe you're talking about in the bridge. And if so, I think yes. I think I know where you're talking about.
Or you might be. Are you talking about the part where it's the super heavy, sort of sludgy breakdown, and then there's like this sort of screaming sound
Yeah,
in the in the background?
that's closer to the end of the song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're actually talking about I I did one overdub in that part with
I'm about to learn about an overdub that Elias did that I didn't know about.
I'm pretty sure you'll remember this, Dave. I did an overdub with an Aztec death whistle that I bought in
Whistle.
Mexico.
You did have a whistle on this record then.
I did add literally add bells and whistles because I added some sleigh bells in another part of the record. So this was like a oh, I wish I had it. Maybe I should go grab it in a minute. But yeah, it's an instrument I got in Mexico, and it's modeled off this instrument of war that the Aztecs used to use when they would ride into battle just to scare the ever living shit out of their opponents. And it's just this screaming sound, basically this screaming whistle. And so, yeah, I added that as an overdub, really, really distant in the background, just to sort of heighten the, I don't know, tension or drama of that part. So I think that might be what you're referring to.
Yeah, that's killer.
Nice. Good catch, Turbo. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's that's not the longest song that you guys have done, right? I mean, it's pretty long, but I don't think, is that the most epic kind of closer that you've had on a record? Now, as I go back and look
I
right
feel like
now
the one
myself.
at the end of See the Enemy, that one was also quite long. Uh, but yeah, I mean, this one, the song with Scum, like the song could end, uh, 2 minutes earlier, basically. But then we really wanted to bookend it with this kind of the intro, basically. The first thing that happens in the song is the last thing that happens in the song. We did want to come back to that even heavier than the first time, even more epic. Just feels like a good final stamp to put on the record. Yeah.
I think we're pretty big fans of like, you know, creating, elements of the music that feel cinematic. I know I am, and I think that's sometimes we trend toward that in certain songs, especially at the end of the record where you really want to, I don't know, end with something memorable or something that kind of overwhelms the listener. I think that's our
And
instinct.
it's like there's what's Forever Beyond Me, like 3.5 minutes or something, that's like, there are like short little sweet ones on the record. And then there are like these more extended kind of things. So, there's room for it all.
Love it. Um, so I threw out multiple bands that you guys are not necessarily listeners of. But you guys did an EP a couple years ago, right? A covers EP, if I'm not mistaken. Um, is that closer to what you guys listen to, or were these just songs? You did Friends, you did The Wizard, you did Helter Skelter. Are those just songs that you guys love, or is that more to where you're listening and your influences lean?
Yeah, we definitely listen to everything. I mean, like, I love the Beatles. I like Queens of the Stone Age. I like heavy metal. I like hip hop. I like, truly like everything in between. I think those were just the songs that we've tried a lot of covers that we get, we're in the practice room, or we're just like, it's not working, doesn't feel quite right or whatever. So those are just ones that like fit really well with us, and it's for that EP, the idea was like everyone would have a special guest. Every song would have a special guest. And so those songs also lent themselves to having people like sit in and be a part of the record also. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think thinking about the tracks on that record, like Black Sabbath, the Beatles, Radiohead, Led Zeppelin. I mean, those are at least 3 out of the 4 are like some of my favorite bands of all time. So it was just I guess, purely for fun, just covering some of our favorite songs, and yeah, inviting some friends on 2 of them.
Yeah. And is Inner City Blues isn't on that one,
No, not on that one.
right?
No.
Yeah, that's another one that we did that before with our friend Easy Jackson. But yeah, even more to the point, it's just like, yeah, it doesn't have to be one thing.
So, um, two things. Number one, if you like Radiohead, Catherine Will is like if Radiohead continued to like write songs that people like the masses might like, instead of going in the direction that they went in. And you can have your opinions on like later period Radiohead, but I personally think after the Bends, I don't know. That's just me, and I like everything. But
Well, dude, what? Hold on. You can't just.
no,
You're,
Whoa.
you're talking. You're
yeah,
talking
Those
to
are
some
fighting
it's
words.
Radiohead
about time I
people
piss
right
somebody
now.
off on our show, Turbo. It's about time. At least they're telling me. Talk to me, Dave. Tell me what I'm missing. I need to
Everything
know.
after the bends. You don't think anything after the bends?
Okay, let me take that back. I will say that if I go to a Radiohead record, it's the bends. I don't. I think, in my opinion, they peaked there. I'm not saying everything afterward is not worth listening to, but I just like the bends more than any of the other Radiohead records. Tell me what I'm
I'm
missing.
like, I feel like the exact opposite of you. I feel like the bends is like they're like it's like the most cliche that they've ever been. It's like their 90s alt rock moment, and then they take off and become this completely other, unique, like incomparable thing that no one else could ever do. Like the bends to me sounds like a record that somebody else could possibly write, and then, you know, no one else could have written Paranoid Android, no one else could have done In Rainbows, nobody you know what I mean?
I do. I do. I'm so happy that we're having this conversation because the other time I've made people annoyed are my thoughts on Pink Floyd, my thoughts on David Lee Roth. So I love this. I love that we have this. Tell me what I need to go listen to fix this, and with a caveat that I saw Radiohead play live. I think it was during the In Rainbows tour, and it was awesome. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I wasn't calling for the hits. It was a great show, and they put on a great show. But what am I missing? Tell me what to go listen to so I can figure out and fix my shit.
Yeah, I mean, you go ahead. Elias is like the real aficionado here with
I am a Radiohead freak. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you like the bends the most, I mean, I would focus maybe next on OK Computer, which came next, which is
Great album.
closer to the bends, but even you know, taking their sound to the next level, in my opinion, but also not completely jumping off the diving board into the electronic stuff, which I love, but is, you know, not, I can also understand is not as accessible to people who are more fans of rock and roll. Yeah, I mean, I'm just a massive fan. I saw them when I was 18, and it sort of changed my life. I was on a lot of drugs at the time, but it made me. It really sort of it showed me what I felt like I experienced what music could do on a mass scale at this massive concert, and just having this incredible emotional and hypnotic otherworldly experience. Again, I was on a lot of drugs, but ever since they've been, you know, my favorite band or second favorite band to the Beatles. And yeah, so I think that's relevant to Black Lung sound as well, because, you know, we're equally fans, big fans of Black Sabbath and Radiohead, and sort of those two disparate tastes colliding in a way that hopefully, you know, creates something that's different. And yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna go listen to In Rainbows later and shame myself. Just so you know, for me personally, and this is Turbo will hate me for this, but um, I love the Beatles, and I'm gonna ask you your favorite Beatles record in a second. But I'm like a huge like Duran Duran fan too. Like, so I understand like some of the synthy stuff, and I understand why Radiohead is so unique and different. I don't know why. It's weird. I will fix it. This is like the conversation I had with the band Black Sabbath when I said, what do I do with Pink Floyd? Like, help me." And they told me to take you a lot of shrooms, and that would make things better for me. I just
Rooms.
I
Yep.
I've never connected with Pink Floyd either. I'll figure my shit out. I'm a complicated idiot.
Are you
Rooms.
a are you a lyrics person?
I
Are
am,
you listening
yes.
to lyrics first or music first normally?
I think probably music because the you hit me with a harmony, and that's what brings me in first, and then I figure everything out after that. That's kind of where my listening goes.
Hmm. Yeah, because I would say, like, the thing that draws me in about just bands like Radiohead, I feel this way about the Beatles also, is like I can hone in on any individual player and be like I'm very captivated by what they're doing. So like the first track of OK Computer, I can just listen to that bass line, and it's interesting every time I come back to it. I hear a little bit different phrasing, a little bit, there's just like, it's really cool what he's doing. Or I can just read Tom York lyrics, and sometimes they make absolutely no sense to me. And sometimes it's this perfectly written, simple little line that'll just like decimate you, you know? You are all I need. It's just like, you know. So I don't know. I like honing in on like the individual players and seeing what they have
It's funny you
going
say that
on.
because my favorite lyricist of all time, and my favorite band of all time, again, nothing related to, like, the genre that we have the show about, but it's an indie rock band called Guided by Voices, and I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Bob Pollard is the same thing. He writes, like, I don't know what you just said there, but then he writes a song like a song called Game of Pricks, which is just so clearly about how he screwed up in relationships, and it's just 90 seconds of perfection to me. So I get it. I completely get it, and people listen to Guided by Voices and like, "Why are you listening to a dude who recorded 100 songs on a boombox and sounds like that?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm like, you get it if you get it. Um, anyway, I'm sorry. I
No, no.
digress. I love
I
this
don't.
conversation. It's wonderful.
I don't blame anyone for not liking Radiohead. I think because there's an element to them, especially in Tom's voice, that is very vulnerable. I think sometimes it makes people uncomfortable because it is so emotive and strange. But for me, I just love that. It just hits the spot for me. Um, Now, when someone tells me they don't like the Beatles, that makes me want to fight.
I understand this. I understand. I understand this. Um, and I'm gonna get back to the new record and to Black Lung in a second, but pick a Beatles record if you had to. If you had to pick one, which one are you grabbing?
Stuff. I go to Rubber Soul a lot. I really love Rubber Soul. Abbey Road seems like a easy choice, but it lives up to the hype, you know?
I think maybe the White Album too, because that's the longest one. So there's the like if I was stuck on a
Yeah.
desert island, and that would bear the most fruit re-listening to over and over. But it's so hard to choose. For me, yeah, like especially Revolver onward are just exquisite.
Revolver to
I've
me
actually
is
been re-listening to I have a 8-month-old right now, baby, and so I'm just, like, spending a lot of time at home, and I've just, like, been on a little Beatles kick recently, and so I just, like, started from the very beginning, and, like, even the first couple albums, you're just like, "Oh my, these songs are amazing and deep and feel unique and, like, hold up." They really stand the test of time, you know? Like, it still doesn't seem like someone who was, like, a singer-songwriter today could just pick up a guitar and start doing that. Like, the harmony, the just, like yeah.
and
Completely.
I think that's why I like Revolver is my favorite, and, just with, George opening and then just it kinda just I don't know, to your point, like, hearing what they're all doing individually and how, um, I don't know, just end to end, to me, that it's a sonically perfect record, and the cool thing I think also when I go to the White Album is just how all over the place it is. Like, it's just and you even get a song like "Don't Pass Me By," like the Ringo song, and I'm like, it's just so perfect. Like, if you just put that, like, on an island by itself, you're like, "That's a really weird, like, Oompa kinda parade song," but then, like, just in the whole grand scheme of it, and then the lyrics, and then you read the book about Paul is dead and all the stuff that went into it there, the whole lore about it. Anyway, I digress. One of the things that I'm looking and talking about your new record, um, the write-up. I don't know who did the little write-up, but they're talking about lyrically how, I don't wanna say the word political, but, like, lyrically, you guys are kinda on the pulse of what's going on, just in general in the world today. Is that are you pulling stuff? Are you, looking at the news and that's part of how you write, or is that just, somebody writing a promo for your record on Bandcamp?
No, we're absolutely political, and we're happy
Yeah,
to say that word.
yeah. We
Yeah, I
have to pay
mean
attention to what's happening in the world.
one of the we tried to, I think, and Dave actually, I can let him speak more to this because he's the predominant lyric writer. But it, even though maybe the lyrics aren't, you know, as directly on the nose as like maybe like a, certain political punk bands might be. I think it's more interesting and more creative, um for you, Dave. And then also I sometimes help out a bit with the lyrics, but to make it a bit more opaque as to what it really means, and more um uh yeah, for lack of a better word, poetic or something. But no, we're absolutely, most of our songs are absolutely commenting on the absolute horror and that our political reality is right now. And yeah, the fact that fascists, white supremacists are running the government. We yeah, we're really upset about it.
Yeah.
Dave,
It's well said. I mean, the, lyrically, um, I am usually I'm trying to write. I'm focusing on like feelings and not facts. Like it's easy enough to to say exactly what Elias just said. Like there are fascists running the country, and there are whites, and it's like I don't really I've never felt like that like moves the needle much to just like write a song that says like fuck Trump, you know? But or that maybe there's a band that's better at doing that than I will ever be, because we're just not like a, an angry punk rock band, right? Even though we are angry rock and roll people who are
I mean,
angry about.
I do scream "fuck Trump" into my pillow every night, but
Yeah.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
that has to.
there's not
I
an
mean, like,
overdub on the record of that, right? There's not that's not put in anywhere. Maybe next time.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. We just whisper it at the beginning of every song, and maybe you hear it. Um, But no, like Scum, like you were talking about, like that's just like my like fuck Jeff Bezos and fuck Amazon song. And maybe you won't get that directly from the lyrics, like it won't be so on the nose, but that's what it means to me when I go through those lyrics. And so if people put that together and that's what it means for them, great. If it means something else to them, that's also great, you know? Like it's not I'm not trying to hit anybody over the head with anything, I guess.
Do you does your location it's an interesting thing because I have a lot of friends in the Baltimore area who are just closer to that stuff. Like, are you guys from the Baltimore kind of DC area, and like politics is just generally like you have no choice because you see it every day, or is it just generally how? Because talk to a lot of bands from different areas, and I think talk to Baracho too, who is from locally from where around where you guys are, who have a similar. At least they did on a couple of their records, like just a little bit more political than their last one was. But is growing up and living in that neighborhood just around that more something that influences just how you write and how that's incorporated into your day to day?
I think it's possible. I mean, like DC is very much a sister city to Baltimore. Like people, it's an hour drive. It's very close. Um, we go to shows at the 930 Club and in DC all the time, right? Like it doesn't feel far away. I uh, I don't know. I mean, like I haven't really lived anywhere else, so I don't know if my political experience would be very different, or if I would be more or less involved or paying attention more or less, you know what I mean? But like it's certainly in the air here. I mean, I like when January 6th happened, that felt like very close. That was like it felt like down the street, you know? Um and so maybe that feels a little different than somebody in California where, DC is like 3,000 miles away or something like that. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, Baltimore couldn't be more different than DC. I mean, the sort of the energy of our city, and yeah, the local culture. It's so incredibly different than DC, I think. But yeah, there's a certain. I'm not usually a big fan of hanging out in DC, although I do like to go there for concerts, especially in the past 5 years at the Anthem. But yeah, there's this sort of stench almost that hangs over the city because of who is in the White House now and in the past, that I don't know. I feel like it just gets on me when I'm there. But yeah, I can't at the same. I can't really imagine being any less infuriated if I lived in a different place in the country. I just what's happening right now, and my heart goes out to everybody in Minneapolis. Yeah, what's happening there right now is just unconscionable and just cruel and un-American and just horrible. And hopefully one day there'll be an accounting and certain people will be held accountable. Certain people who have masks on right now and are cowardly terrorizing citizens of our country and non-citizens alike who still have human rights. Um, but yeah, we're not shy about our political beliefs, although we maybe don't wear it on our sleeve musically. We're pretty outspoken online or try to be, and at shows we usually Dave usually take a moment at every show to sort of let off some steam about what's going on with our country. And even though it's whatever, who knows if it makes any difference, it's a sort of cathartic um expression that is authentic to who we are and what we're feeling, and hopefully connects with what the audience is feeling. And I think it's important for you know all bands. I mean, some bands prefer to stay out of politics, which of course is their right. But at this moment, I think it's important for everyone who can and is willing to speak out in whatever capacity they can, just to show uh, that you're not afraid, and to provide that example for everyone else, that we should exercise our rights and speak out and say fuck you to these fucking evil people who run our country right now.
I wanna you mentioned Baltimore, and, my experience with Baltimore, I'll give you my 2 experiences with Baltimore. Number 1, uh, my dad let me drive our Pontiac Bonneville from Long Island to Baltimore, like, the week after I got my driver's license, to go to lacrosse camp, and, I just got to go hang out in the city in the '90s, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun there, and then I watched The Wire, and I'm like, "Oh, Baltimore," and people are like, "Oh, Baltimore, The Wire, that must be a scary and all the stuff and corruption, all that shit." The Wire was a great show, but, like, do you look at a show like that and you're like, not the best advertisement for my city? Or do you look at it and it's like, that there's some truth to that, and there's good and bad everywhere you go? And I'm just interested because that particular show and my experience in Baltimore did not connect. But as people who live there, what would you say to something?
Yeah. Well, what you're talking about is an international phenomenon. Like we go all around the world, and people are like, "The Wire, Baltimore," immediately. And so, I mean, ironically, like, talking about everything that we were just talking about, like Baltimore actually feels like a pretty safe place to be right now. Like it feels like everyone here has each other's backs, and like it's a very liberal town. And I kind of like when I'm walking down the street, like I have a pretty good idea of where everybody stands. You know what I mean? I'm not wondering like, is this person about to like call ICE on like some dishwasher in the back of this restaurant? Like it feels like we're all actually on the same team in this city, which is really good. Now, if you want to talk about drugs, gun deaths, murders, like corrupt governments, like, corrupt mayors, like all that. Yes, of course. Like it's not a perfect city, and all these things are definitely true, but it's like, it's just like anywhere. It's not the entire story. But it's certainly made for like, one of the best TV shows ever, arguably, right? So it's just a piece. It's a piece of the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I also agree that The Wire, and I know a lot of my theater teachers from high school were in that show, so it's it's a show that's very close to my heart, and I do think it's one of the best television dramas of all time. But at the same time, yeah, it does get a bit uh frustrating, especially when we've toured in Europe, and the one thing everyone knows about Baltimore is The Wire. And it's still, although there is a lot of truth, and there's a real authenticity to the depictions of certain uh, elements of the Baltimore experience in The Wire. It's not everything, and it's still a television drama, and it's an incredible drama, but it doesn't represent all that Baltimore has to offer. And in fact, just this past year, I'm really proud of our city and our mayor, our young mayor Brandon Scott, and we've had the lowest homicide numbers in since the 70s this past year. So and that I think from what I understand, that wasn't from thing up law enforcement and arrests and stuff like that. It was from investing in the community. So yeah. So things are improving, and it's although we struggle with a lot of the same things that big urban areas around the country do. There's a lot of great that Baltimore has to offer too. So we're proud to be from here.
That's great. And it's you mentioned touring, and yeah, obviously you have a new record coming out March 6th. What are you guys doing? Are you have a tour set up, or are you planning that, or what is that going to look like?
Well, like I was saying, I have an 8-month-old right now, so like touring is not as readily available as it once was. But we're definitely doing an album release show at the Alta Bar on March 6th here in Baltimore, with some really killer bands opening up. And we're likely going to do some East Coast runs and just some. That's a great thing about living in Baltimore is like Philly, DC, New York, even like North and South Carolina, like all this stuff is pretty close for us and easy to get to. So I'm sure we'll be doing some stuff like that, but no, nothing announced quite yet. We also have some videos that are going to come out, um, and some stuff that we haven't even shot yet. So
Great.
we're, staying active around it.
Cool. Yeah, we're early on that record, Turbo and I. So we're lucky to have been able to spend some time with it. I'm sorry, Lance. I think I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I'm just talking over people. But yeah, we put out a couple visualizers recently, which were actually made by the other Dave um, in the band, who Dave Fullerton, who courageously decided to learn how to how to use what was the program he used? I guess Canva. And created these really cool visualizers for our songs, so we wouldn't have to spend a lot of money hiring someone to do it. So we're grateful to Dave for doing that for Traveler and Follow. And oh yeah, he also did one for the single Madness that we released, which was basically a B-side that we decided not to put on the record, but we released last year. So he's been doing some extra work on that.
They're really
And
cool. Yeah, I almost like hesitate to call them visualizers because when I think of visualizers, I just think of like some weird ambient shit happening. They're like he really has like pieced together like a little story, with this really cool like source material that he found. It's like it's
yeah,
a proper video.
you put a lot of thought into it. And
Yeah.
and then we finally we for the last single we're going to release, which is the pseudo title track Forever Beyond Me. We filmed a proper music video for that about a month ago, and it's being edited right now, and so that should be entertaining. It's it's going to be a wild.
Are you
And
using your acting chops from you mentioned your drama teachers back in the day? Are your acting chops being exercised here, or
well, we're all in it, all three of us, and I also directed it as well. And the seed of the concept was actually Dave's, who came up with an idea, and then I sort of ran with it in a more, I guess, campy, man-made monster horror direction that I think maybe will also be pretty relevant to the whole AI conversation that's on people's minds. Um, yeah, so it was a lot of fun, definitely a lot of work, and good amount of stress to pull off within a reasonable budget. But yeah, I think it should be a fun fun thing we have to offer for the last single we're putting out for the album release.
Love it. And Turbo, I've taken up these guys' time with all my Radiohead bullshit and the like, and I haven't allowed you to ask a question. Do you have a last question for these guys as we wrap up? I've kept them already longer than I promised.
I had a lot of questions, but yeah, y'all wanted to.
No, man, you can. I'm not in a
Hey,
rush.
look.
You can hang for longer.
I've probably taken them all.
No, I forgot what I was going to ask though. It was just, I mean, what songs are you looking forward to people hearing, and what songs do y'all enjoy off of this album to play live the most?
Have you played them live yet?
Yeah, I have you.
We have a few. Yeah, yeah. Yes, we have.
I think, I mean, we're gonna try to, at the album release show, play the whole record through just in order. And yeah, it's I can't think of one that I'm looking forward to more. I'm just looking forward to people experiencing the whole album, as a work unto itself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm personally looking forward to playing Border Hoarder live because it's hard and we've worked really hard on it. I want it and I want to do it because we've been working really hard on it, you know. So just for the pure selfish reason of it was hard and now I want to do it in front of people. Um, and yeah, I think Forever Beyond Me is gonna be a banger. I think that one's really gonna slap live. I'm excited for that one.
Love it.
Yeah, that song is fun because it's sort of a I don't know, when we were writing it, it felt like it was our take on sort of a pop song, but in the style of Black Lung, with super heavy down tune riffs and but like a really catchy, hooky chorus and melodic through line, which we love. And yeah, and I think that translates really well
Yeah.
live.
I mean, drop B for the guitar nerds out there. If you want to try to catch that riff, drop B.
The reason I
This is-
ask, we talked to a lot of bands where they're like, "Oh man, we're already tired of playing these songs," because they've been playing them a long time before they got out. You know,
Well, that's definitely true.
Huh.
That's really a thing. I mean, like some of these songs are like 2 years old for us at this point, you know. And I've got 3 or 4 new ones ready to go, ready to be worked on. So like, yeah, no, that's a real thing. But I, like Elias was saying, we're gonna do the whole thing at the album release show, and that's always really fun to do. Just go top to bottom like that. We don't always get to do that, you know.
on my stream, your head aligns with Elias's shirt, and it looks just like you've got horns coming out of your
Yeah,
head.
he's got horns. Looks like he's got horns. It's awesome. This is definitely the way I'm posting it too. It works perfectly. Oh,
no.
very nice. Love.
By the way, just as a sort of um digression from the conversation, have either of you guys seen the new movie 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple yet?
Not the
Mm.
Bone Temple. I saw the one the 28 years later, but not the actual new one.
Well, let me just say, when referencing the bands we were discussing previously, I think you would in particular love this film because it has some really great needle drops, has some Radiohead, Duran Duran, and one scene in particular with a very famous heavy metal song that made me just about leave my body. So it may be one of the greatest needle drop music in a film scenes of all time.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of horror, it's definitely. I was very excited about it.
Is it an
Yeah, we just
obscure tune or one that's been used a lot?
No, it's not obscure, but the way that it intersects with what happens in the story and the sort of elaborate performance that ensues along with the song, because pretty much all of there's the score of the movie, but all of the songs that happen in the movie are all within the world. Because a character has, even though the apocalypse has happened, which that's not a spoiler, because if you know the 28 Days Later franchise, you know that it's about a zombie apocalypse. this in particular character has a bunch of records he saved and the ability to play them loud. So I highly recommend it, even just for this one scene toward the end of the movie. If you're a fan of heavy metal,
Can't
Right
wait.
on.
Can't
so
wait.
it's
J-
something else.
I just watched the three of them in a row because I hadn't seen the other two in a while, and the years later came on. So we watched all three of them, and now like I think the commercial come on like right after them. Like, wow, can't wait to see that. This is why I love to do the show because I had no idea that when I listened to Black Lung that you guys were Beatles and Radiohead fans, and now it all makes sense. Obviously, after talking to you guys and listening and having that, it's it also goes to just how you have a label like a Magnetic Eye or a Ripple or a Heavy Psych Sounds, and all you guys are similar mindset, but there's so much cool different stuff going on, and it's just so great, and that's why I love doing the show is talking with you guys like just about music and about the stuff I missed, about the stuff that you guys love and what drove you to this, what we agree on. So I think that's very, very cool, and I hope you check out Catherine Wheel and tell me what you think because I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it. Um, Guys, I kept you longer than I promised, but I do want to say to summarize: number one, thank you. This was awesome. Number two, the new record is called Forever Beyond by Black Lung. Comes out on March 6th on Magnetic Eye Records. Few different vinyl options. CD for those of you who still CD. Um, and I can't say enough of how much we love it. I think people are gonna just go crazy for it. Big fans of your band, of fans of your band already, but I think this is gonna maybe even open up some new avenues and new doors because there's it's great. So congratulations on that. I can't wait for people to hear it. And Elias and Dave, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the kind words. That means a lot. Appreciate you guys listening to it and, giving it a good, honest listen and having like really specific things to say about it. It's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you guys for doing it. Appreciate the time and good luck and come back and talk to us again if you don't mind.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you,
You.
Rich. Thank you, Turbo.
Yeah, we'll argue more about Radiohead next time.
I'll come better prepared.
Anything yet? Yeah.
Thank you, Turbo, for noticing my Aztec death whistle overdub.
That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
That was very
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much and have a great night.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
appreciate it.
Peace.